Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Ontario's corrections system has strict policies regarding the reports that must be filed when an individual is held in segregation. Corrections staff conduct reviews every 5 days, and after 30 days, a more thorough report is sent directly to the desk of the Assistant Deputy Minister for Institutional Services. In Adam Capay's case, this would have happened at least 50 times. And according to human rights lawyer Paul Champ, after 60 days, a report goes directly to the minister. Speaker, justice delayed is justice denied. How long was the Premier going to allow Adam Capay to remain in segregation, putting justice at risk?
Thank you, Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I know that the minister will want to comment. But, Mr. Speaker, I have said a number of times that this is an unacceptable situation in Ontario. I've been very clear about that. The issue points to some very serious challenges and problems, quite frankly, that we face in the province. First of all, too many First Nations youth are not getting the supports that they need in their communities. Mr. Speaker, we've been very open and frank about that, and we're working to put those supports in place, Mr. Speaker. We're collectively, and I would say collectively across the province, Mr. Speaker, we're failing some of those young people, and we need to make sure that we work much harder to put their supports in place. So, Mr. Speaker, we recognize, secondly, that we need to see faster access to justice. We understand that. In the interim, Mr. Speaker, as we work to put those changes in place, there needs to be a transformation of the system. We have changed the rules around segregation, Mr. Speaker, and we have committed to doing a review, starting with the issue of segregation.
Supplementary.
Back to the Premier, Speaker. If after 60 days the minister responsible receives a warning, that means both the Attorney General and the Minister of Community Safety received 25 different warnings about Adam Capay. 25 times the ministers were told that a man was being held in segregation without trial. 25 times these two ministers ignored those warnings and allowed justice to be delayed. Mr. Speaker, why did the ministers ignore 25 separate warnings as Adam Capay went without justice?
Thank you. Premier.
Minister of Community Safety, Correctional Services.
Minister of Community Safety.
Thank you very much, Speaker.
Services.
I appreciate the question from the member opposite. And as I said last week, and as I can continue to add to this discussion, we are committed to a full review of Ontario's correctional system, and we will be announcing a reviewer very shortly. I am aware of Mr. Capay's circumstances, obviously, and as you know, last week he was moved to a different cell and has access to a day room, phone, TV, and shower facilities as well. In addition, and Speaker, you know, the characterization by the member opposite, you know, what I would say is there's regular reporting. You know, the circumstances with respect to segregation in the province of Ontario are the following. There are about 8,000 individuals in custody at any given point in Ontario. About 7%, or 560 to about 600 individuals on any given day, are in segregation. Every day, nurses see those individuals, and they are advised.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. While the Mr. Capay was moved because of renovations, while the Attorney General was on tour of the Thunder Bay Jail, Union President Mike Lundy specifically pointed out Adam Capay and told the minister that he'd been in segregation going on 4 years. Conveniently, the Attorney General can't seem to recall that. Mike Lundy responded by saying, "That's unfortunate because I saw the look on his face that day." So not only was the AG told personally his office would have received nearly 25 warnings while he was minister, and now, because the minister ignored Mike Lundy and ignored the warnings, charges are at risk of being dropped. Speaker, again, justice delayed is justice denied. How could the Premier allow her ministers to keep a man in solitary confinement for 4 years without trial?
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And you know, as I was saying, on any given day, these are the numbers in Ontario's correctional institutions, and every day individuals are seen by nurses to ensure that they are receiving the supports that they need. With respect to the time taken for Mr. Capay to come to trial, the Attorney General, I think, made it quite clear that on the part of the government and the Crown, we will do everything we can to expedite individuals' access to justice and ensure they get to trial in a speedy way. But the member also knows there are other reasons for the delay that may be beyond the government's control. Speaker, more broadly, we're committed to a full review. I'm very concerned about the conditions of segregation across the province in the sense of we are doing everything we can to improve the conditions that anyone will experience if they're in custody. And for their safety and the safety of others in the institution, they need to be in segregation and only as a last resort, Speaker.
Thank you.